this how you turned out a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman?
You're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever.
What if I told you The Godfather, widely considered the greatest film ever made, almost fell apart completely? The lead actor was nearly fired, the production was threatened by real mobsters, and the most iconic scenes weren't even in the script. The truth behind this cinematic masterpiece is darker and more fascinating than the film itself. Welcome to Primetime Throwback. Today, we're exposing the secrets Hollywood never wanted you to know about The Godfather. Revelations that will change how you see this legendary film forever. Secret number 1. The method acting that put James Caan on an FBI watch list. To understand Sonny Corleone's volatile temperament, James Caan spent weeks with actual mobsters, studying their mannerisms and speech patterns. He learned their distinctive hand gestures, the way they commanded respect without raising their voices, and even their peculiar sense of humor. What Caan didn't realize was that the FBI had these men under surveillance. When agents spotted him in their company, they assumed he was a new recruit and added him to their organized crime watch list, where he remained for years after filming. "I'd get stopped at airports," Caan later revealed. "Immigration officers would pull me aside, give me this look like they knew exactly who I was. In a weird way, it helped the performance. I started to feel the constant suspicion these guys lived with." Next time you watch Sonny's explosive rage, remember, that performance was so authentic it fooled the FBI. Secret number 2. The horsehead scene. Real terror. Captured on film. During rehearsals for the infamous horsehead scene, John Marley worked with a fake prop. But when cameras rolled for the actual take, it was secretly replaced with a real horse head from a local dog food factory, without Marley's knowledge. Imagine, Marley pulls back the silk sheets, expecting the same fake prop, only to find an actual severed horse head, blood soaking into the Egyptian cotton beneath his hands. The stench of death filling his nostrils as the cameras captured every moment of his reaction.
Ah! Ah!
That moment of pure, unscripted terror, the widening eyes, the trembling hands, the primal recoil that wasn't acting. That was genuine human fear captured forever on film. One crew member was so disturbed by the deception he quit on the spot, calling it psychological torture disguised as filmmaking. Secret number 3. Brando's hidden cue. Cards. Marlon Brando refused to memorize a single line of dialogue. Instead, he insisted that crew members hide cue cards in increasingly absurd locations around the set. Look closely during Don Corleone's office scenes. When he seems to be thoughtfully contemplating before speaking, he's actually reading his next line from cards taped to lamps, props, or even other actors. During the "Look How They Massacred My Boy" scene, his dialogue was written on cards attached to the Undertaker's chest.
Look how they massacred my boy.
It was infuriating, Robert Duvall once admitted. "We're all preparing for months, and Marlon shows up basically reading his lines off my tie. But when you see the results on screen, you can't argue with his method, however maddening." Those glances you see from other characters during Brando's speeches? Sometimes it's actors trying to figure out where Brando's next cue card is hidden. Secret number 4. The Martian. How Al Pacino was days away from being fired. 3 weeks into filming, Paramount executives were in a panic over Pacino's performance. They mockingly called him the Martian because his acting choices seemed so bizarre to them. "He's just sitting there," one executive complained. "He's doing nothing. We're paying him to do nothing." What the studio didn't understand was that Pacino was deliberately building Michael's character as a slow transformation. The quiet performances in early scenes were laying groundwork for his eventual emergence as a cold-blooded killer. This subtle character development, now considered a masterclass in acting, was nearly lost because executives wanted immediate drama. Studio heads were actively interviewing replacements, including Robert Redford and Ryan O'Neal, while Coppola fought to keep his star. Can you imagine the blonde, blue-eyed Redford as Michael Corleone? The entire ethnic foundation of the story would have collapsed. Pacino only kept his role after Coppola filmed the pivotal restaurant murder scene early, finally showing executives what Pacino had been building toward. If you're enjoying this dive into cinema's darkest secrets, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button and subscribe to Primetime Throwback. we uncover the stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know every week. Secret number 5. The sound innovation that changed cinema forever. Ever notice how modern thrillers go completely silent just before something terrifying happens? That technique, now used in everything from A Quiet Place to Joker, was pioneered in The Godfather. When Sonny approaches the toll booth where he'll be ambushed, Coppola removed all sound. No ambient noise, no music, creating unbearable tension before the violence erupts. In 1972, this was revolutionary. Audiences had never experienced this manipulation of sound to create psychological suspense. The studio thought we'd made a mistake, sound designer Walter Murch revealed. They actually asked if we'd forgotten to add the soundtrack. Next time you feel your heart race during that unnatural silence in any modern film, you're experiencing Coppola's innovation from 1972. Secret number 6. The wedding scene's hidden purpose. The wedding sequence that opens The Godfather seems like a stylistic choice, but it was Coppola's solution to a practical problem that influences storytelling today. Think about shows like Game of Thrones or Succession that introduce sprawling casts without losing their audience. That technique, the gathering that establishes dozens of relationships, began with The Godfather. I needed the audience to meet everyone without boring them, Coppola explained. At a wedding, you can show who respects whom, who fears whom, who loves whom, all while appearing to simply depict a celebration. This innovation is why modern TV pilots often feature parties, funerals, or gatherings. They're all following Coppola's blueprint for painless character introduction. Secret number 7. The Prince of Darkness and the studio's panic. The Godfather's distinctive visual style, those shadowy rooms where you can barely see characters' eyes, nearly got cinematographer Gordon Willis fired. When executives saw the first footage, they demanded Willis be replaced immediately, claiming he was wasting millions on unusable footage. They couldn't understand why the characters were so often shrouded in darkness. Willis, nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, was deliberately keeping Brando's eyes in shadow throughout much of the film, only gradually revealing them as the story progressed. The eyes are where you see the soul, Willis explained. Don Corleone reveals his soul to very few people. The lighting reflects that. Modern directors like David Fincher and Denis Villeneuve have built entire visual styles around this innovation, the idea that sometimes what you don't see is more powerful than what you do. Secret number 8. Real mobsters on set crime. Boss Joe Colombo initially tried to shut down the film entirely. Producer Albert Ruddy struck a dangerous bargain. He would remove the word mafia from the script if Colombo would allow filming to proceed. But several minor roles were filled by actual mob associates. Lenny Montana, cast as Luca Brasi, had previously worked as a real-life enforcer before becoming a wrestler. His nervousness in the scene with Brando wasn't entirely acting. He was genuinely intimidated by the legendary actor. During filming in Little Italy, a production truck containing over $1 million in equipment mysteriously vanished after Coppola refused certain suggestions from local crime figures. The message was clear: the mob still had power over their portrayal. There were days, Coppola later admitted, when I wasn't sure if we were making a movie about the mafia or for the mafia. Secret number 9. The studio memo that nearly destroyed a masterpiece. After viewing Coppola's first cut, Paramount sent a 3-page memo of required changes that would have ruined the film. Their first demand cut the entire wedding sequence, calling it tedious and unnecessary. They also insisted on reducing the runtime by 30 minutes and adding more action scenes to make it a more commercial gangster picture. The studio demanded that the horse head scene be removed entirely as too shocking for audiences. Coppola took a massive gamble. He simply ignored most of their demands. His defiance nearly got him fired, but his stubborn artistic integrity saved what would become one of cinema's greatest achievements. Secret number 10. Coppola's hidden cameo and family affair. During the scene where Sonny beats Carlo on the street, Coppola appears briefly as a background extra holding a wire recorder. This hidden appearance is just one small piece of how The Godfather was truly a family enterprise. Coppola brought in his sister Talia Shire to play Connie. His father composed additional music, and his infant daughter Sophia appears as the baby being baptized during the climactic murder montage. This family approach to filmmaking literally mirrored the Corleone philosophy that blood ties supersede all other loyalties. While making a film about a family business, Coppola created his own. What makes these stories so compelling is how they mirror the film itself. Just as Michael Corleone fought to protect his family's legacy, Coppola battled studio executives to preserve his vision. Both succeeded through strategic genius and unwavering resolve. Which of these stories blows your mind the most? If you rewatch The Godfather tonight, see if you can spot Coppola's cameo. If you find it, drop a comment with the timestamp. Remember to subscribe to Primetime Throwback for more deep dives into cinema's greatest crime classics. What Hollywood secret should we expose next? Until next time, keep your friends close, but Primetime Throwback closer. The one YouTube subscription that truly is an offer you can't refuse.